where more than 4,000 children are in emergency accommodation, properties that should be CPO'd by councils, as has finally now happened in Clondalkin. The far-right agitators are working very consciously to direct people's anger not at those at the top of our society, but against those at the bottom. I have confidence in people coming out on Saturday, making their views known, but I have a lot less confidence in the government. What is the state going to do to protect people? Why did it take so long, more than a day, for Gardaí to issue a statement debunking the dangerous lies being spread by the far right? When they're spreading lies about imaginary crimes, why is there not an immediate response to tell the truth to people?
First of all, I condemn without reservation the behaviour and activities of people at that location last week. And it's not the first time that malicious and false rumours have been spread about people seeking international protection. We've all heard those rumours, and they've been deliberately spread falsely and wrongly, and that stands to be condemned. The Gardaí are investigating aspects of that, I understand, in respect of false rumours, but also in terms of any attack on an individual. The Dr. Al-Qadri, that's shocking, condemned without reservation. And people came to help him, as you say, and I read that, and I think that illustrates that the vast majority of Irish people have no time for violence, for criminal behaviour, essentially. Let's not call it anything else. And that's why I don't feel it's correct or proper to just juxtapose, which you kind of did in your presentation, that with economic issues or political issues or issues around wealth distribution, which are fair enough issues any day in this House, but to kind of juxtapose that to the violence that you've correctly identified and condemned, I don't quite get that. I don't accept the juxtaposition either, because there are legitimate arguments to be had about the enterprise model we have in this country, with strong social protection in the country, with strong social interventions in this country. The state intervenes a lot in Ireland to protect people, either in housing or in health or in social protection, and we've intervened a lot in the last 2 years because of the cost of living increase. But our economic model, I suggest, is a better model than the one that you advocate. And I think people would be in a far worse condition, I respectfully put to you, Deputy, if they were to follow the economic model that you follow, which is anti-private enterprise, and you don't believe in private enterprise, and you don't believe in the whole concept of entrepreneurship and people developing the economy, which in our view has resulted in about 2.7 million people now at work, which is record high levels of employment in Ireland. 3/4 of the working age population now in employment, at an all-time high, unemployment at 4.2%. We added 90,000 jobs alone in the last year. And again, many of those jobs, I just was in a position to announce 100 of them yesterday with Infinius, companies that are high-quality jobs that are being provided. And in the public service, there's been a dramatic, exponential increase in employment across all of the services that the state provides. And we are focused on that from an economic perspective. But it's that balance between an enterprise model that has generated wealth in this country, that has enabled us to redistribute it, and particularly to protect the most vulnerable.
Deputy Murphy.
I don't doubt for a minute, Taoiseach, that you are utterly opposed to and that you condemn the arson attacks, the racist violence, the lies, the misinformation, and so on. I don't doubt that. But I do think the government bears a responsibility. Not the same responsibility, of course, as the far right. But, for example, you have placed over 1,000 people who've come here seeking asylum in harm's way by putting them on the streets. That's a policy choice you have made. You created a two-tier asylum process, which legitimised some of the arguments suggesting that these people aren't legitimate asylum seekers. That's the one level in which you're responsible. The second is for the real issues that affect people. The housing crisis, which gets worse day on day. The inequality, the health crisis. Your government is responsible because of the economic system and those that you represent, the corporate landlords, the private developers, and so on. None of that, of course, justifies any racist violence. None of that is the fault of asylum seekers. But it is true that the far right try to tap into real legitimate issues and then direct anger away from your government, away from those at the top of our society and towards those at the bottom. And that's precisely why on Saturday we are marching to demand homes for all.
All right, thank you.
To demand health care for all, to demand a tackling of inequality as well as rejecting the racism and hatred spread by the far right.
I think that's shocking stuff. Like, you condemn it, you condemn racism, you condemn appalling behaviour.